right, everybody, here we are. We are back. Brand new Cabral Concept. This is episode 3000 of the show. I want to take 1 second to thank all of you in this amazing global health community. There's no way I could have done this without you. There's no way that I would have persevered, which is something we'll be talking about here today on episode 3000 if it wasn't for all of you. We now get millions of downloads every single month of the Cabral Concept, well over 60 million downloads from people all around the world. And to think I started this back in 2016 or so in my Boston functional medicine integrative health practice, where I saw people every single day. We used to see 20,000 appointments a year. And I said, you know what? My goal isn't to necessarily open up a half a dozen of our wellness centers. It's to be able to teach each and every day. That's what I wanted to do. So in between appointments, I used to try to fit in a 30-minute time slot, be able to record an audio-based version of the Cabral Concept. Now, of course, we have video, and just share that with people. And so what started out as maybe 100 downloads or so a day turned into a couple hundred, and then a couple thousand, and the show has now grown over the years to being a top iTunes health-based podcast. So I wanted to thank you, appreciate you, and just share my gratitude for all of you who keep this show going. So thank you so much. Let's dive now into the show. A lot of people speculated about what episode 3000 would really be about, but the truth is that I wanted to make it what it always is, what it always has been. Not to do anything outrageous, but to share with you an overarching meaning and philosophy that I carry and have carried all throughout life. It really is something that I needed to do while I was very sick in my teenage and 20 years. It's what enabled me to simply persevere, to get through today and to make it to tomorrow. That's really what it was about. I had no hope of getting well. I had no hope of gaining my energy back, normalizing blood sugar, my adrenals, my immune system, my allergies, my sleep, any of those things. So all I wanted to do was get through today. And I've taken, though, that same philosophy with me, even after I healed, to not make it just about surviving the day, but just keeping focus on today is a gift that we don't need to focus on tomorrow, but actually to focus on today. And I've shared with you before, and this is what today's show is really the meaning, the philosophy is going to be about, is that I've read 2 to 3 books, more so when I was trying to heal, when I was trying to get well, but 2 to 3 books every single week for now 20 plus years. And so it allows me to read a lot on all of my favorite things: health and psychology and self-improvement and philosophy and technology, all sorts of different things that I very much love. And out of those, people are always asking, what are your favorite books that you read? And it's difficult. It really is challenging to say, well, what is my favorite, or which one should I share with you? Because books are subjective and they help you out based on where you're at in life right now. And the book will speak to you in a different way. Well, as I was getting ready to prepare and talk really about episode 3000, what would the topic be? We got requests to have my wife come back on the show. We got requests for, maybe different topics, maybe different themes, but really it came to me as I was reading books a couple weeks ago. This one book, it's called Chop Wood, Carry Water by Joshua Medcalf, spoke to me. Again, I read a lot of books, and when you've read thousands of books, it's like, yeah, I've heard that before. It's not that you don't appreciate it. You appreciate it, but it just doesn't hit you. It doesn't have that spark. This book, for me, for whatever reason, it gave me that spark. Part of it is because we have so much going on in our virtual functional medicine-based practice. We're looking to relaunch the Reimagine Health Summit, our event for this fall. So many things are going on. And when there's so many moving parts, as they say, it's very important to focus on what's in front of you. And so what I learned from this book, and I have 6 to 7 major takeaways, is that we need to understand that our goals will come and go. They really will. They're somewhat fickle. We have certain goals. We want to achieve a certain financial plan that we're looking to get, a certification, a career, a relationship. We're looking to start our family. And what happens when the family grows? The goals begin to change, right? I wanted to get well from 17 years old all the way to 27, and then I got well. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I need to focus on something else now, right? But what doesn't change is the process, is the day-to-day activity. And the truth is that most days are not wildly exciting in terms of moving towards your goal. Because if you set a big enough goal, it's not a given that you're going to achieve it. Meaning if someone needs to lose 100 pounds, it's not a given that they're going to lose 100 pounds. If someone wants to create a thriving wellness-based practice, it's not a given that they're going to have a thriving wellness-based practice. If you want to overcome an autoimmune issue, it's not guaranteed you're going to overcome it, right? So every single day is what? Every single day is simply working that process. What we talk about on our usual Mindset and Motivation Mondays, trying to give you one tip every single week to get closer to your goals. But each and every day is what? It's putting in the work. It's literally chopping the wood and carrying the water. And where did that come from in this book? Well, very specifically, and the term's been used before, is that the book is about a samurai archer. Someone actually from the United States that once they graduated from college went over to Japan to learn to become a samurai archer. And it's a 10-year apprenticeship to become a samurai archer. And all you are doing for the first year, and what you're doing each and every day in this particular story, is every day you're chopping wood. Wood is used to be able to heat the homes and cook the food in this particular society that they're in, particular town, and the water, of course, to be able to drink. So each day, those chores, those things need to be done from daily life. And as part of the process, you're then working towards your craft, whatever it may be. In this term, archery. For the students' first year, all they got to do was pull back on the bow and shoot only 7 feet in front of them. Very frustrating, very agonizing, knowing that you probably have 10 years to get to this ultimate outcome. How do you stay motivated? How do you persevere when the injuries set in or the frustration or you see other people doing better than you? It can be debilitating when you're looking at, I still have maybe another 6 months, another year of this. How am I supposed to do it? So what I wanted to share with you today are 6 of my big takeaways, with the understanding that people always ask, how have you done 3,000 podcasts? How do you do a daily podcast? That doesn't seem possible. And then they realize that, you run your teaching-based company. You have a certification where you've certified 5,000 other integrative health practitioners. You have a global functional medicine practice, Equilife, where you help hundreds of thousands of people every single year with at-home lab testing and with protocols and all of these things. There's 100 people on your team. How are you doing these things? And I come back to 2 things. One is I have an amazing team. I've hired amazing people. They've hired more amazing people. But every single day, what our team does and what I try to instill in them, because I don't necessarily know that we have these wildly different ideas necessarily. Yeah, our idea of bringing at-home lab testing to the world, okay, that's wildly different. But in terms of execution, we have to do the same things. We need to make sure that we're getting the best quality products. We're doing the third-party testing. We're getting all the different things we need to get done. And what that takes is just every single day, all 100 people on our team getting up, chopping wood, carrying water, going through all of the things that are essentially just dirty work. They're hard work, just has to be done. Every day, answering those emails, working with vendors, working with suppliers, working with fulfillment houses, dealing with things like the pandemic and things being out of stock and shipping issues and all of these things, right? Working the process each and every day. What does it take to do 3,000 days in a row of a podcast? Well, you'll hear, I haven't lost my voice for years, knock on wood, right? But years ago, I had lost my voice a couple times. I still push through those podcast recordings. Maybe I shouldn't have. I'm not saying that I should have done that. I'm not saying that it's the best thing for everyone, but I would not. And on those podcasts, you could hear my voice failing, and I could only fit in maybe that one. That's it. But I did it. And that's because, and I'll move into then one of the first principles I want to share with you. We need to live by principles and not emotions, because there are days that you just don't want to do the work. That's the truth. There are days that I might be tired. I might be frustrated. I might be stressed. And I'm like, I really don't want to do this particular recording. I don't necessarily want to do my workout if I'm tired, whatever it might be. But unless there's something physically wrong with me, and it's not just emotion-based, I say, no, you're someone who exercises 5 days a week. If I am out and I'm not able to get a healthy meal, I don't stop at McDonald's or Burger King or any of these places. And again, I'm not saying that I'm better than anyone else. I'm not. All I'm saying is that I've set a certain set of principles for myself that I'm not willing to go to one of those places. That's just the way that I am. Those are my principles. Your principles will be different. For the podcast, I have a principle that says, and my team knows this, we don't miss a day of the podcast. We just don't miss a day. It's every single day. The Cabral Concept is a daily integrative health show. And it's for the whole family. So if I have a guest on and they're swearing and they're whatever, I have a principle. It's for the whole family. Kids can listen to this show as well. Yeah, there are adult topics that we talk about in terms of health, but the whole family can listen to it. So we have to go through the whole podcast and remove all of the adult language. Like that's just a principle that we live by. So I ask you, what principles do you live by rather than saying when the emotions come up, good, bad, and different, that you'll always stick to the daily work of chopping the wood and carrying the water, the unsexy work that just needs to get done. All right, the next principle I want to share is this, is that most people, and I'm going to butcher this Greek pronunciation. So if you speak Greek, you'll understand what I'm saying here, but most people don't. So I should be okay for the majority. So it's something called gnosko. And so gnosko is basically Greek meaning knowledge. And most people, a lot of people, they mistake this knowledge for something opposed to that called yada. And yada means wisdom gained through experience. So let me give you an example. On my team, I have no idea where people went to school, like university. I have no idea. Literally. Does not matter to me whatsoever. And that's because I have brilliant people on my team, brilliant executives, brilliant people, top to bottom. And what I look for is something that cannot be taught in school. The ability to work with people, the ability to work through obstacles, the ability to work through challenges, and real life work experience. So I'm hiring people, coaches, executives, team members, customer care, that already have experience. That is because you can learn a lot with your MBA, but trust me, you don't compare to someone with 10 years working at 2-3 different companies, or maybe one company from the bottom all the way to the top, learning all the different things that could go wrong and how to correct them. Also learning to work in a team environment. So yada is what you're looking for as opposed to gnosko. Gnosko is what people confuse. They read an article and they're like, oh, this, that, and the other thing. I mean, I get messages every day and I'm okay with that. I love it. It's part of what I do. And they're like, how could you recommend vitamin D? People should be getting vitamin D from the sun. Listen, I was young and learned about natural health at one time too. And I had all of those same ideals. But then what does someone in Boston do in December? Or October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, and most of June? Like, what do they do to get sun? To get their vitamin D levels up? And also, what do you do if you're working from 8 in the morning to 5 at night? Where do you get your sun? Right? So yes, the sun would be an amazing way for people to get their vitamin D. But then you have all the dermatologists telling people to put on all the sunscreen. So nobody's getting vitamin D from the sun. So should you not use vitamin D? Of course, right? So it's like there's a big difference, just that the wisdom that comes from experience. And I only have particular areas that I work on. So I lean on others who have that yada in other areas. And that's what I try to do as best as I can in life. That's why I have great team members, because they have more experience than I do in other areas, and I lean on their yada for what to do next. All right, the next one is this, and I love this. Life does not test you. And I always looked at life as it was testing me. Trust me, like I feel I've been tested quite a lot in life. I feel like I've been exceptionally tested all through my life, really through my 30s, maybe less so in my 40s, but I still get tested, but now I look at life differently, which is what they talk about in the book. So life presents you with opportunities to grow through challenges and obstacles that we look at as the tests. Because how you level up in life is learning something new and overcoming something that you once thought was hard. Because remember, if you look back in your life, we all look at things that we weren't able to do before and we can do them now. Those things used to be looked at and viewed by us as extremely difficult, like really hard to do. And now not so much. Well, the thing that you're staring at right now that looks extremely hard to do was the thing that you've already accomplished and now you view as easy. But the only way that you get there is to chop that wood and carry that water. Put in the work so that as you put in the work, you grow, you become better, you attain more wisdom or yada. And now when you accomplish that thing, that now looks easy. And you say, oh, I can't believe that was ever difficult. But now what's in front of you? The next mountain. There will always be more opportunities to learn and grow. Number 3 is this. Under pressure, I believe this is an old Navy SEAL saying. Under pressure, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall to your lowest level of training. This is why it's so important that we train hard in private when no one is watching. If someone wants to become a great public speaker, or they want to be good on video, or they want to be good on social media, whatever it might be, do you think that you can just turn on a video camera or step on stage and start to speak? Of course not, right? What does it take? All those brilliant people you see on stage that speak, it took them hundreds, most likely thousands of hours of practice. Most of that in private, on their own, filming video, doing audio, in interviews, things that you will never see. It's all the work that they did to become great. You only get to see the greatness. You didn't get to see everything that came before that. And I love when people share their low light reels and how they move through the years to then get better and better and better. It's amazing. So remember, train in private so that you're great when it's time for the light to shine on you. All right, the next one is we know that we're on the right path in life when we say things like this to ourselves. This is hard. No one else is doing this. I don't feel like doing this today. It doesn't feel like this is making a difference. How many times have you said to yourself, like, why am I the only one doing this? My daughters will say that, right? This is hard. Why are we the only ones who can't do this? Why are we the only ones who do X, Y, and Z? And again, for the most part, they're not saying those things, but we have the conversation with our children, maybe our spouse, our parents, maybe ourselves. It's like we hold ourselves to just a different set of principles. Not better than, not worse than. These are the principles we hold to so that we may be able to enjoy a better life of, insert whatever you're looking for, health, if you want, right? So my daughters know that they're not going to be able to eat candy and keep all sorts of things in the house. It's just not something we do, right? They're kids. Would they like to eat candy? Yeah, they probably would, right? They probably would. But here's the thing. We don't keep it in the house because we focus on our health. Can they have some type of sweets? Absolutely. We're not going to say that they can never have those things, but not in the house, especially not Monday through Friday, especially not on school nights. Those things just aren't happening. And that means, though, that I also can't do the same because I can't say, oh, no, you can't do it, but I can. So we have to live by not just our own principles, but family principles that you may want to begin to implement, or maybe you already have them and you just haven't written them down or stated them in a specific fashion. This is just not what we do. Yes, we would like those tastes as well, but we're going to wait to a Friday night, a Sunday afternoon, whatever it might be to enjoy them. All right, we've got 2 more that I want to share with you. This is one of my favorite, and I'm going to do a whole podcast just on this particular saying. We are all building our own house. I love this saying, and it's not going to hit you the same way until you read the story. And I even knew the outcome to the story as I started reading it. I'm like, I know how this is going to end, but it still made so much sense. And I'm not going to ruin it. I'm going to do a separate show on it. But we are the sum, and I've shared this before, of every thought and every action that we've had in our life. And it's important that we guard our thoughts, that we talk to ourselves in a loving and kind way, in a way that builds us up rather than breaks us down. Because each and every day, it's usually very easy to say, you know what, I'll put the workout off until tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I'll start eating right tomorrow. I'll begin the CBO protocol tomorrow. I'll run that lab next week. It's easy just to put it off another day or so. right? Just as easy to do it today, but just as easy to put it off. And the body is always seeking comfort. It's always seeking to say, hey, the path of least resistance works for us. The problem with the path of least resistance is very rarely will it be the same path to your goals. Because you're going to encounter obstacles and challenges only because you're not at your goals. And in order to get to your goals, you need to be doing something different, right? In order to get change in your life, change has to happen. In order for you to level up, you need to level up. If your goal is bigger than you are right now, you need to get bigger in order to attain that. And so each and every day, we're building our own house. If you've ever seen a house be built, most homes take like a year to build, right? But it's every day, just, as they say, chopping that wood, in this case, nailing it together, right? Or however you're building your home. But it's piece by piece. You lay the foundation, you set the frame, you begin to wall up the house. You already have the plumbing start to be put in. You put in the electrical before you put up the walls. Like all of these different things are happening in sequential order so that a year later, maybe it looks like magic. Looks like magic if you didn't see it for a year. But for the person building the home, for the builder, they know it has to get done. And they know that every day you don't do that work, you delay the project. And also, if you take shortcuts, what happens? Do you get a great home or do you get one that's done a little bit sloppily? And who has to live in that home for the rest of their life? You want to build a great home. The last one is this: surrender to the outcome. This is one that I need to work on personally. No doubt about that. The issue is I try to control as many of the variables as possible in my life. I really do. And that's because I've set big goals for myself. I've set big goals for what I want for my family, for my work, for my team, for really the teaching that I want to pass on. I've set big goals. I'm looking to train and certify 10,000 IHPs around the world. I want them to become the health coaches in their home. I want them to teach themselves how to heal, teach their families. I want them to create practices of their own around that. And if they can help 100 to 1,000 people per year, what do? Well, we're helping 10 million people then around the world. And that will only continue to grow. That's one of my goals. It's a big goal. So what do I need to do? Just leave that to chance? No, I can't leave it to chance. But also, I can't necessarily control everything along the way. So for me, it's about surrendering a bit. It's about saying, I'm going to try to control what I can control. Things will be out of my control at times, right? Like in my wellness center in Boston, sometimes a toilet, someone would stuff paper towels down a toilet, right? Never do that, by the way. Never do that. There's signs in all these restrooms and cafes, etc. Never put paper towels down a toilet. It clogs it. And then you have to have this professional company come in and snake the whole thing, especially when you're on the 4th floor of a large building, right? So a whole a bathroom would go down. Now our wellness spa clients couldn't use it. Our sauna clients couldn't use it. Massage, our personal training clients, nobody could use it, right? That wasn't part of my day. That was not, but you have to surrender the process. These things will happen. We can only control what we can control. For me, try to hire the right people, put them in the right positions to then be able to help others. I've always believed that. With the wellness centers and the different facilities that I've had and run, I'm only one person. Like at best, I can help about 2,000 people a year, like one-on-one appointments, right? But we always did over 20,000 appointments. That's 10 times what I could do. That's because I could hire the right people, train them, they could help others. I could take care of some, they could help lots. I can only control that factor then, so I can try to take care of my people. I can try to put out the best possible product. But then, that's what I can control. After that, it's surrendering to the process. What does this mean? If you have big goals, you're looking to achieve something big in your life, set the goal, no doubt about it. But then, don't worry about that goal. Like you can't, if you want to lose 100 pounds, you can't worry about losing 100 pounds. You want to worry about losing 2 pounds this week. That's it. That's what you can control. And how do you lose the 2 pounds? Is it magic? No. We need to work on first our nutrition. We need to work on our movement. Our exercise, the whole de-stress protocol, diet, exercise, stress reduction, toxin removal, rest, emotional balance, scientifically backed supplements, a success mindset. And if you plateau, okay, no problem. Let's look at those hormones. Let's look at the metabolism. Let's look at what else is going on. And then let's take it to that next step. Remember, opportunities to grow, opportunities to learn. So all of us, including myself and especially me, we need to just surrender to the big goals and begin to simply look at what we need to do on a daily basis. That's all that we can control. And to me, that goes back to chopping wood and carrying water. Thanks so much, everybody. I appreciate you so much for tuning into episode 3000. You're amazing. So much gratitude for this community. Thank you again. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.